Hi, I'm Jian Rong, and together with my teammates Francis, Sean, Craig, and Adrian, we will be talking about Nike, highlighting the operation management issues and analyzing the respective impacts on the company's performance. Nike is the world's most recognizable brand in the world. The American multinational is arguably the most influential seller of sportswear and apparel worldwide, and as such, globally, there is high demand for Nike products. To allow consumers to obtain their products more efficiently lies a highly complex supply chain. Nike's global supply chain relies on diversification and outsources 90% of the production of its 550,000 different products of sportswear and apparel to independent contract manufacturers outside US in 42 countries, where it also sources most of its raw materials in the manufacturing host country, amounting to 567 independent factories and over 1 million production workers. So once Nike products are manufactured and ready to ship globally via shipping lines, they arrive at a given 57 distribution centers strategically in US or in other countries. Nike further distribute the products through 3 major channels to its final consumers by selling products to 1. Distributors or wholesalers in US and international markets and further selling it onwards, 2. Direct to consumer sales via its own retail outlets, and 3. E-commerce sales such as on Amazon. Nike's proactive approach to supply chain management has been credited by many as a significant contributor to its phenomenal success. Thanks to its effective management, Nike's supply chain team quickly learned to manage the additional logistical complexity involved in this outsourcing and has seen significant cost savings over the years as a result. It's common knowledge that outsourcing is inherently a risky approach, but by extensively diversifying its supplier base, Nike should have already mitigated this risk from the beginning. By not overly reliant on any one site means Nike is less vulnerable to unpredictable occurrence or events. However, the 2 years of pandemic show that Nike's global supply chain strategy is not foolproof. While Nike is already much less vulnerable to unpredictable projected at local scale disruption, it would not be able to control unpredictable global scale disruptions that happen worldwide at the same time.
When the pandemic hit, Nike 2020 net income fell by 40% at 2.9 billion compared to 5.6 billion at the end of fiscal 2019. Inventories fell by 31% to 7.7 billion by end of the fiscal year 2020. The COVID disruption leads to labor shortage, transportation delays, port congestion and container shortages, which similarly also affected raw materials and product availability, especially in the first half of the fiscal 2020. Their profit margin dropped as its supply chain costs were spread over a lower volume of wholesale shipments. There are reduced shipments to wholesalers, labor shortages, factory shutdowns, and other supply chain effects that curtail Nike's ability to calibrate supply and demand, which leads to stockpiling inventory and increased costs of production and distribution. In response, Nike paid liquidated damages by cancelling production orders and shifting products destined for stores to fulfill online orders by offering large discounts, which leads to lower sales and profits. Nike's current supply chain disruption revealed the importance of building the agility in their supply chain management necessary to overcome major scale uncertainty. The agile supply chain is important because we live in an age of highly volatile disruption, and capabilities that improve supply chain agility can also help improve its resilience. It is beyond just the ability to weather a crisis or save money. In the long run, it is agility that can make the difference between operations that thrive and those that merely survive. When disruption hits, though it upends established practices, but it also reveals new opportunities. 3 of the most important benefits of agility are better and more timely data and improved visibility, the ability to execute faster than the competition and issues, an integrated and collaborative relationship with key supply chain partners, enable faster and better responses to new opportunities. Agility can be built in the below 4 areas. Collaborative relationships. Supply chain management that thrives in collaborative relationship becomes information hubs, analyzing data from numerous sources to identify potential disruption with shared supply chain partners to coordinate demand projections, product flows, share inventory and production schedule to optimize the end-to-end supply chain response. Demand sensing. Sensing the market signals for potential disruption and responding to demand changes is a start. Reorganizing the manufacturing and distribution network and pivoting to the resilient resources of supply as new needs and growth possibilities arise. Information integration. AI are driving supply chain digitalization, which monitor information timeliness and the percentage of data with real-time or right-time visibility. Accurate data and richer signals support agile supply chain excellence. Process integration. Agile supply chain management breaks down functional barriers and focuses on end-to-end process optimization. Example, Tesla sidestepped the chip supply crisis by deploying in-house software experts to write code for alternate chips, and similarly, Nike sidestepped during the pandemic the shift to direct-to-consumer focus on online sales of their excessive inventory. Now I'll hand over to my next presenter.
Hi, I'm Adrian, and I'll cover on excess inventory. Concerns about COVID-related risks impacted Nike's revenue growth, and inventory levels shot up excessively to 7.7 billion in various markets, which unfolded in the form of retail shutdowns, transportation delays, port congestion, and container shortages, which prevented the sales and delivery to consumers, especially in the end of fiscal 2020. The cost of excessive inventory were also a result that Nike mainly uses a make-to-stock customer order, which implies that it focuses on building up inventory in advance of actual demands in order to be able to provide fast service to customers. It involves Nike falls into the assembly line cell, resembling production processes with high volume of highly standardized products produced in very large batch sizes. Make-to-stock products make it easier to predict production scheduling, spread resources and production, and minimize customer wait time to purchase. The business would have analyzed its previous sales and based on different trends in the current economy and own sales history, will make a forecast based on its capacity and the amount of demand. However, the main disadvantages of make-to-stock are its unpredictable nature of consumer trends and the difficulty of making accurate sales forecasts. Technically, make-to-stock are in the perpetual state of either not enough inventory, which does not optimize profit margins, or excessive inventory, which is going to cost your business when it does not sell well. Next, I'll cover on the recommendation on excess inventory. The theory of operation management proposes that demand forecasting, which affects the quality of market prospect along with all related supply chain connection, is a starting point for inventory level optimization. The uncertainty from the COVID make it impossible for businesses to create reliable forecasts in responding to the new situation. As such, AI machine learning is applied in demand forecasting, and its speed in responding to the changed circumstances thrown out by COVID-19 gives it a clear advantage over traditional approaches. Whereas with a statistical-based planning team often has to wait several months for sales results to become available before they can produce forecasts that respond to changes. Machine learning system can achieve the same result within a much reduced time frame and with a massive reduction in a manual effort. Thank you. I'll hand over to my cosmate, Craig.
Nike demands respectable working conditions from its contracted factories, which include doing away with excessive overtime, and independent suppliers must adhere to Nike labor rules by working no more than 60 hours per week and taking at least 24 hours off each week. However, in the year 2020, when COVID took place, Nike 2020 Impact reported the prevalence of excessive overtime. The occurrence of excessive overtime has increased over the past 5 years in the Nike business as a result of unstable production estimates, changing product volume, delays in receiving materials, and a lack of enforcement of legal working hours requirements by the government and customers. Excessive overtime is exacerbated by COVID disruptions within the global labor shortage work, which led to increased production overtime and deliver timely outputs or during festive seasons with expected higher production levels. These circumstances make it difficult for suppliers to effectively organize and streamline their personnel in order to deliver goods on time without necessitating longer workdays. Excessive overtime is a problem for both buyers and suppliers as well as employees. Not just extra labor payout, it has an impact on the health and well-being of the workforce, and studies have also shown that employees who put in a lot of overtime may not be as productive as those who work in a conventional work week, which may lead to reduced productivity and errors in the product quality. The poor quality and lack of inventory hurt retailers in the long run as it affects merchandising capability and customer services, which ultimately hurts store sales and profit. In an increasingly uncertain world, companies that do not react to changing demands risk their future existence. That is why it is so important to consider automation in production as a way to achieve sustainable business continuity. Robotic automation can handle more processes and menial tasks, and production workers have more free time to focus on other critical responsibilities which needs human and stay agile towards the market. Not only does this lead to a less frustrated workforce, but it also results in a greater productivity and overall efficiency. Happy, productive employees make a better working environment and better result for your business. A standard method of employing a hybrid push-pull production is to have some stages of the supply chain operate as pull systems while others operate in a push model. The main objective is to address long and short-term production and sales needs by keeping inventory level low enough to be cost-effective but high enough to withstand situations such as supplier or production delays or meet increased demands. This strategy requires a more accurate demand forecast in a GIC system but doesn't aim to keep standing inventory at zero as in GIT systems. Predictably, this hybrid push-pull production reduces a certain percentage of inventory overhead, and now this percentage translates to Nike no longer having to stock more than building to ship when necessary, which ultimately translates to cut down over time labor expenses. Nike can employ GIC production for vital, quick turnover products, ensuring stock is always available. GIC can also be helpful from unreliable suppliers or that are often out of stock or have long lead times. Employ GIT production for unique made-to-order products and no need to keep a stockpile made-in-order items.
Hello, my name is Francis. I will now touch on the conclusions. COVID-19 has impacted Nike's global supply chains from the global lockdowns, which hampered manufacturing and stagnated its sales channels. The pandemic did not introduce new supply chain issues, but uncovered weaknesses presented in Nike's supply chain strategy and management, which are unable to be agile to react to changes from in the internal and external constraints with inaccurate demand forecasting that's unable to avoid the disruptions. While Nike lean operations are reliable and predictable, they need agility to be more adaptable and flexible, which are equally important to meet the volatile and uncertain demands. As Nike lean supply chains grapple with unpredictable disruptions and consumer behaviors, they need to build agility in their operation to quickly respond to the change while applying lean principles where relevant. Studies have shown that pandemic has accelerated numerous developments of digital enablement with AI, machine learning, and automation in many companies' supply chain strategy and operation management to achieve greater supply chain visibilities, efficiency, and resilience. These key elements are driving efficiency with the speed that can make faster, timely decisions, having more AI machine learning to increase predictive and prescriptive decisions in autonomous operations to improve the entire value chain and can also instantaneously adapt supply plans and manufacturing schedule more efficiently in response to a change in consumer demand or disruptions and ensure sustainable business continuity. 2 years since pandemic, Nike is changing their operations by using supply chain as an engine for growth and a key differentiator versus competitions. The COVID disruption has spurred innovation and competitive distinctions. The pandemic obstacles and limits push Nike to incorporate new technology platforms, automation, and process optimizations. Now Nike is focusing more on direct to consumers, which allow them to be in control to be more just-in-time production with faster turnaround to react to the changing consumer behaviors. Nike is also using AI and machine intelligence to provide insights on the most popular products that can sell and deliver faster and identify the sales channel that can achieve more precise consumer data and analyze consumer behaviors. Example of Nike sales channel is such as buy online, pick up in store, ship to store, no rush shipping options, etc. For consumers to get what they want, where and when they want it. Nike has also deployed more than 1,000 collaborative robots in their distribution centers across the world to help teammates sort, pack, and move product, enhancing order processing speed, eliminating physical obstacles, and allowing teammates to focus on higher value activities. This is the end of our group presentation. I hope you enjoyed the insights. Next slide are the references used for this presentation. Thank you.